here.
Now, we have to start by giving a little bit of an apology to Chris. So typically when we do this, Voice Your Dreams, we have kind of a presentation, we have a video that plays. It's very emotional. We talk about our childhoods and why we're here to talk about voicing your dreams. And apparently, they didn't get that file. So poor Chris, we were like, no, we don't need you to announce us. We got a video. And we kind of kicked him off the stage.
I know. Chris, you want to come on up? Yeah, come on up.
Yeah,
We're just going to improvise today.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Oh, we were just saying sorry, the video wasn't here, so.
I know, I apologize, we didn't have the video here, but I just want to say this, you guys are even more impressive live and in person though.
Oh, wow. We just started, so you might want to wait to hold that until we're done.
No, it's true, it's true. In fact, I'm going to go look for that file, see if we find it. If I can, I'll come back and tell you guys and we can play it.
It's fine, we'll wing it, we're good at that.
Brett, you feel so far away. Can we move our chairs closer to each other? All right, let's just move over here. Well, hello everyone. How are you? Okay, well,
how do you want to start this?
Yeah.
So, why don't we talk about hopefully you all saw the title of our presentation was Voice Your Dreams. Did you guys get that memo? Okay. Great. So we like to say we are both very fortunate to have had supportive parents and kind of been brought up in an environment that encouraged us to pursue our dreams.
And we both feel like we are literally voicing our dreams. But it started from a childhood of, having big imaginations and parents giving us permission to just dream freely.
Absolutely.
And to believe that we could be anything that we want to be. And so, Brett, I want to start with you.
Okay.
Because you had a dream as a young boy to be a Disney animator, not the voice of Mickey Mouse. So how the heck did you end up as the voice of Mickey Mouse?
Okay. Good question, Ashley. She acts like she doesn't know the answer. So yes, my original dream was to be a Disney animator specifically, but I wanted to be an artist. And that all started because I was a huge fan of Mickey Mouse and Disney. My dad and I would watch the classic cartoons. Who remembers VHS cassettes? Yes. So children of the 80s and 90s, we would watch the Disney home videos and my dad would pause them and we'd sit and sketch the characters. So that's really how I was introduced to art and drawing. I learned to draw by drawing Mickey. But also at an early age, I recognized this real kind of attraction to the story of Walt Disney specifically. How he went from basically nothing to being responsible for creating all of this magic that we know and love. And so I said, I want to be a part of that magic. I want to draw these characters. And it just really kind of was my main focus for the longest time. I was that kid that would come home and instead of playing sports in the street with the rest of the kids, I'd go into my room and draw on my little animator's desk.
There's a lot of artists at this convention. Who loves to draw? All the artists, raise your hand. I'm so impressed with everyone's art here.
It's intimidating. Yeah. I kind of pursued that dream. It was always at the forefront of my mind. And one of the benefits I had was that I grew up in Southern California, in a town called Pasadena, if you're familiar with the Rose. Yeah, Pasadena. Rose Parade, Rose Bowl, and home of Bret Iwan, the voice of Mickey Mouse. I'm still working on that tagline. They've yet to put it on the marketing materials, but I'm hoping. So anyway, I was really close to the Walt Disney Studios in Burbank. It was just 20 minutes away. And one of my favorite things to do was bug my poor parents to drive me past the Disney Studios. Not to go in them, because you can't unless you work there. I just wanted to drive around because to me, just driving around and imagining all the stuff that was happening in there was equally as exciting. So one of these days, I convinced my mom to drive me to the Disney Studios, and she goes, you know what? Why don't you send them a letter and ask if you could sharpen the animators' pencils or serve them coffee? Maybe they'd hire you to do that. Keep in mind, I was probably, 7 or 8.
And there's a thing called child labor laws.
I'm not sure there was then, but still, it's a good point. My chances were slim, but nonetheless, again, going back to that just like ever-present need to dream and this permission that I somehow was ingrained in me, I was like, you know what, yes. So we got home, and as kids do, I pulled out that typewriter case, I unfolded it, I plugged it in, I waited for the typewriter to heat up, put in the paper, you know, you ratchet it there, just space bar, okay, good to go. I typed up a letter, and I basically asked what my mom suggested I do. I said, hey, my name is Bret Iwan, my dream is to work for Disney someday. Can I just sharpen your pencils and serve you coffee? Sent it off. Yeah, it's funny, I know. Sent it off, and I waited. And a couple months go by, and one day in the mail, this envelope shows up, and it's like a thick envelope. And the return address is the Walt Disney Studios in Florida. And I was like, well, that's weird. I almost said emailed. I did not email. I mailed my letter to Burbank, but I get this response from Florida. And what had happened was somehow somebody got it, and they took the time to respond to 7-year-old me's silly paragraph that I wrote them. And he wrote me back this 3-page letter, and in that letter it outlined the whole process to become a Disney animator, basically. Like, here's the books to read, here's the schools we recommend, here's the daily, you know, why don't you draw daily? It was one of the biggest suggestions. And they even included a sample portfolio that it was my Bible, I studied it. I was like, I want to draw like this someday. So yeah, I didn't, they also said, sorry, unfortunately we can't hire you. But try this stuff out. So yeah, and that thing really did, as silly as it was, that was kind of like my roadmap.
That changed your life, I mean, truly.
It did, because it took something that was just kind of this like flippant dream, you know, this imaginative world, and it gave me tangible tools.
Well, I like to call it that. It takes something that seems so intangible that you can't even believe that it's real because you can't see it, you can't touch it, you can't feel it. And they sent you this package that literally was tangible, and they said, you can do it too.
Yeah. It made it real, and so yeah. Long story longer, I followed that to a T. I ended up choosing an art school. That was one that they recommended. I was on that track to become a Disney animator, and then a little movie called Toy Story came out, which I'm sure none of you have heard of. And it changed animation, and they stopped drawing animation and they started computer animating movies. And so, needless to say, my ambitions shifted a bit. God, I'm taking a long time to tell this story.
Keep going.
Do we need an intermission?
Keep going.
Okay. So, went to art school. My first job was at Hallmark Greeting Cards. I was an illustrator and artist there for 5 years. And here's the part that you really want to hear about: the Mickey auditions. I'm working at Hallmark. Should I go into this part yet? I'm jumping the gun.
No, you're not. So, the thing that's fascinating, though, is you got so close to your dream of working for Disney, and then it took a complete sidestep. And I think that's something we can all relate to. It's like you worked so hard for something, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's like you're going down a different path, and you're like, how did that happen? Yeah. So you're working for Hallmark Greeting Cards, and I know, as your friend, one day you got an email that said, do you want to be the voice of Mickey Mouse?
Yes. That's a totally normal email to receive in your inbox, especially on a day or an evening where you're talking to your dog like Mickey. So I was at home, I took a day off of work, I was renovating my bathroom, and I was talking to my dog, who's named Lilybell, and if any of you are diehard Disney fans, you might know that Lilybell is a significant name in the Disney universe. And I was like, oh Lily, you're so cute. Hi Lily, oh gosh, good dog. And I stopped and I was like, man, whoever has that job to voice Mickey must be so lucky. That's awesome. And then I opened my email and I got that email.
That is crazy. True story, by the way.
I'm not lying, because, so then what happened was I thought, my friends are punking me. They came by today, I didn't know they were here, they heard me talking like Mickey and they're making fun of me. But I read the email and they weren't, it was legit. And it outlined the audition process to audition for an understudy, which I think is an important part to point out there. You know, Wayne Allwine was the third voice of Mickey, and he had been doing it for 32 years at that point. You know, he's the Mickey I grew up on, Mickey that I really try to model my performances after. And he was having some health difficulties, which were just making it harder to sustain the falsetto. And if any of you have come by my table today, you've heard me say that, you know, talking like Mickey takes a lot out of you. It's not something that, you know, you can just flippantly do. Like, the weather affects you, how much sleep you've had affects you, how many cookies in the green room you've eaten affects you. So anyway, needless to say, they were in need of an understudy, and they outlined the audition process, and having no business participating in the voiceover industry, I thought, well, yeah, why not?
And I think that's important to note. Bret was not an actor. He had no experience in acting or voice acting.
Okay,
he took a chance.
I was in Little Shop of Horrors in high school. Yeah, thank you. I played Mr. Mushnick. And I was probably the worst Mushnick in history. And I was also in Beauty and the Beast, the unlicensed version.
Like I said, Bret was not an actor. See, now we're getting snarky. This is how it really is.
Just wait till we tell your story. I know some stuff. No, it's true. I was not an actor in the sense of I never aspired to be a voice actor. I never once thought, I'm going to pursue that. You know, I was aware of it. I knew who Wayne was. I knew who his wife Rusey was, who voiced Minnie. Bill Farmer, the voice of Goofy. I knew all those people, but I never thought that I'd be playing in their sandbox, you know? But this thing came about, and I just knew that I loved Mickey so much. And again, going back to it being connected to Walt and his story, and that's what truly fascinated me so much, I just thought I'd be a fool not to try. You know, at the very least, I thought I'd be walking into dinner parties and being like, you know, one time I auditioned to be Mickey Mouse. I thought that'd be cool. And I still can say that, but the end of the story is, and I got it.
And you use that line all the time.
I do. She's like, enough, I know. It's true.
Okay, so you got the email and you sent in the audition.
I sent in the audition. It was literally a hotline had been set up, and people think I'm joking when I say it was like 1-888 Mickey. All of this sounds made up, actually, now that I'm recounting it. Called in the hotline, and they had sent a voice sampling. So they had lines from Walt's Mickey performances, and then a few lines from Wayne's performances. So they had stuff going back to like The Brave Little Tailor, when Mickey's swatting flies on the tailor and gets mistaken for having killed giants. He's like, I killed 7 with 1 blow! And then they had all the way up to Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Hi everybody, it's me, Mickey Mouse. Want to come inside my clubhouse? Well, all right, let's go.
People have grown up listening to Mickey Mouse. Yes.
You pointed at me like...
There's a lot of... You've been doing the voice of Mickey for what, 11
12
years? 12 years. Wow. So there's a lot of 12 and under kids.
That's a weird realization. It really is. Anyway, so you did the voice sampling. You literally called in and left your Mickey message. So I remember I was so nervous. I went to the quietest spot I could find in my house, which was my attic. It was an unfinished attic. What was I thinking? I went up to my attic, like Rapunzel over here. I was like, I'm gonna climb up to my tower and record my voicemail. Went up there and I was like, hi, this is Bret Iwan and this is my Mickey Mouse impression. Oh boy! Okay, thank you, bye-bye. I literally remember I was like, I don't think any of that was legible. But some time went by, similar to me writing that letter to the Disney Studios. A few weeks go by, and eventually I'm driving home from work and I get a call from an 818 area code, which I knew was LA because I'm from Southern California, like I mentioned. And I answered, like, hello? Oh, hi, this is Disney Character Voices. We loved your audition. We're holding callback auditions right now in studio. We just wanted to know, when can we get you in? What part of California are you in? And I was like, I'm in Missouri? Missouri, California? No. And then the Disney nerd in me made sure to tell them, but I'm blocks away from Walt Disney's Laugh-O-Gram studio. Like, hello? And they're like, that's nice, kid. We're gonna have to call you back. they did eventually call me back. I got the in-studio audition, first time in a recording studio ever, and yeah, did that. On that day, you know, they explained to me again, this is an understudy position. Wayne Allwine is the voice of Mickey Mouse. We're looking for someone who's willing to learn from him and take on this role slowly, which I was so excited about. And they said, you know, Wayne has been having some health issues. He went into the hospital today. Unfortunately, he never came out of the hospital, and nobody anticipated that. So before the casting call, or the casting was decided, Wayne passed away. And it went from an understudy to, you know, Mickey needed to continue working. And so again, I got a call, and they said, we'd love to start trying you out. And so I was commuting from Kansas City out to Burbank about every other week to work on projects. And on my second trip out there, my first few projects were Disney on Ice shows, some stuff for the theme parks. And at the end of I think it was the second day I was out there, they sat me down and they said, we really love what you're doing. We'd love to offer you this role, if you'd like it, and you need to move out to LA. And I said, gee, thanks, but no thanks. And I walked away. I just wanted to see how you reacted
I'm the only one who found that funny.
It was meant for you. Anyway, obviously I said yes, and that's the end of my story. I don't know.
Oh man. Bret and I bonded because we called this panel Voice Your Dreams because we bonded over well, we don't even have our presentations. I can't even share that story.
But we bonded over our shared love of, this is just going to give you some insight into how geeky we truly are. And that was part of our Voice Your Dreams title. We said, you know, it's called Voice Your Dreams. It's turning your fandom into your dream come true. Because I think it's important to note that Ashley and I are both huge, someone's coming up behind us. Huge fans.
There you go. There you go.
Oh.
Oh. Oh. Okay, we're gonna play this.
We're going to voice it live for you. Ready? I was a kid
who beat to my own drum.
My parents both always encouraged me to dream.
I definitely had an imagination that knew no bounds. And my parents made a conscious decision to never tell us no to our dreams.
My mom recognized I had artistic abilities at a very young age, and she enrolled me in art classes.
And no matter how crazy our imagination was, I remember my mom would just go with it.
I don't remember a time when I didn't feel like I had permission to dream and to create and imagine. And I have to say that's all because of my parents.
The most important times in my life are the times that I failed, especially when it comes to making your dreams come true. It's what fuels you. When your gas tank is empty, it's that failure that gives you the energy to fill up your gas tank, to keep trying.
I definitely took steps to make my passion turn into a dream come true, but a lot of it just happened because I was open to it, because I put myself in the situations that presented the opportunities.
When I found out that I was cast as the voice of Ahsoka Tano, my mind was blown, because for so long I was typecast as the mean girl, and for once I was cast as the hero and the good guy.
I don't think I ever thought, no, I can't do this. I thought, this moment is made for me, and I'm not going to miss it. And I'm not a confident person. If you're my friend, if you know me in life, I'm not confident. In that moment, I wasn't going to let the fear of never having done it before stop me from something that was so deeply ingrained in my being, my creative existence.
I believe that everyone was given their own unique skills and talents to make their dream come true.
Yes, those are the building blocks for success, but hard work is also a part of that.
For me, I think my new dream is sharing with others that their dreams can come true too.
The most exciting part about where I'm at now in my career and in this position of voicing Mickey Mouse, who is known and loved by so many and represents so much, is that I get to act as an ambassador now to help other people realize their dreams. I just want to encourage everyone possible to voice their dreams.
It gives yourself permission to do it, to be it, to believe it. It just starts with the first step. You have to voice your dreams. Once you voice your dreams, once you say it out loud, I mean, in the words of Obi-Wan, you've taken your first step into a much larger world.
Now, please welcome to the stage your dream duo, Eckstein and Bret Iwan.
Hello! Oh, now I have to tell my whole story over again. And they just want to hear about Ahsoka.
Well, now that you've seen the intro video, and now that you've heard Bret's story, you know, Bret he could have not taken the chance and not sent in that voicemail, and ultimately it changed his life. And I wanted to share a little story with you today of how I became the voice of Ahsoka, which almost ended before it even started. Unlike Bret, I knew at a young age that I always wanted to be an actress. I was bit by the acting bug when I was a young girl, and I had my sights set on the Disney Channel. I wanted to be an actress on the Disney Channel, and that was my dream. And so eventually I was old enough, and I moved to LA to pursue that dream, and I did film and television. I did a lot of comedy, and what a lot of people don't realize is that my whole background is actually in live action versus voiceover. But being a big Disney fan and a fan of the Disney princess films growing up, I always wanted to be the voice of a Disney princess originally, but the voice of a character. So I asked my agent to send me out on voiceover auditions, and they did, thankfully, even though I had no experience in it, but it didn't go so well. I auditioned for 4 years before I became the voice of Ahsoka. But in terms of how many auditions that is, that's about 400 auditions. And
Which is totally normal.
yes, which is totally normal. And I didn't get any of them.
That's not normal.
Yeah. I wasn't like Bret. The first audition you send in, you get it. No, it did not go well for me in the beginning at all. And so I was 4 years into auditioning for voiceovers and getting turned down, and finally my agent calls one night and he says, okay, you have an audition tomorrow for this new Star Wars cartoon. Which for me, I mean, I've been a lifelong Star Wars fan, so that was a dream come true. But then he said, you're going to be auditioning for Padme, and you need to sound exactly like Natalie Portman. Because I sound nothing like Natalie Portman. So I stayed up almost all night practicing, and I tried so hard. And the next day was really, really busy, because in LA, what a lot of people don't realize is you find out about auditions the night before, and some days you could have 0 auditions, or some days you could have like 5 auditions. Well, that day I had 5 auditions, and the audition for Star Wars was the very last audition of the day. So I practiced really hard, but then I had to go on the other auditions, and finally I got to the Star Wars audition. I'd been so busy, I hadn't eaten lunch, so I was hangry, like I was really hungry. And I got to the audition, I walked in, and I saw a full waiting room of all of the top voice actors, like half the names that you see here, like really well-known names. A bunch of people were in this room, and they were running over an hour behind. I hadn't eaten, and I sounded nothing like Natalie Portman. turned around and walked out. And I went to my car and I practiced a couple more times and I couldn't get it. And so I called my agent and I said, you know what? It's been a long day. I'm so hungry. I'm so tired. I have no shot at this. And I said, I'm gonna leave. I'm not gonna stay. And I'm usually a very positive person. I blame being hangry for that. But I thank my agent because he said, no, Ashley, whatever you do, do not leave. He said, turn around, go back in there. He goes, because you never know what could happen. And so I did. I walked back in and waited my turn and eventually went in and I said my very first line as Padme, and sure enough, Dave Filoni stops me and he's like, no, you sound a little, I sound nothing like Dave Filoni, but he goes, you sound too young to be the voice of Padme, but there's this new character that we think you might be right for. So at this point, I have no idea that it's Ahsoka because it was so top secret. All I knew was that it was a 14-year-old girl. So they bring me the lines, but then they say that they want her to have an Icelandic accent. Well, my bad day just became worse because I cannot do an Icelandic accent. So I do the audition to the best of my ability, and then I was terrible, and I leave, and I call my husband, and I'm like, I've got no shot at this. So fast forward to I get a call. I got a call back. How did I get a call back for this part, an audition that I bombed? Well, they said, okay, we really liked her, but have her practice her Icelandic accent. So I go to a dialect coach, and I mastered it from what I thought. And, he taught me pure Icelandic. And so I was so excited. I practiced, and I thought I was pretty good. But pure Icelandic sounds more like Irish. So I go into the audition, to the callback. I say the first line in Icelandic, and Dave Filoni stops me again. And he says, no, I'm sorry, but can you make it sound a bit more Icelandic? So I raised my hand, and I did something I would normally never do. I talked back to the director. And I said, I'm sorry, but I am doing Icelandic. I don't know what you want. That got me the part.
I want to put a pin in this story real fast and go back to your dream of being a Disney Channel star. Now, do we have any That's So Raven fans out there? And do you remember the character of Muffy? Now, what you just described was very Muffy.
It was. Alana said something in Star Wars I don't understand. Wait, Star Wars? Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
that's
Spanish.
Star Wars.
Yeah. Or the line from That's a Raven where she said, Alana said something in Spanish I don't understand. Thank goodness Ahsoka doesn't sound like that.
But Muffy served you well in that moment. That's all I wanted to point out.
She did. So I did my best to do Icelandic in the audition, but I walked out of the callback and I once again told my husband, I said, I just bombed that. There's no way I'm getting this part. About 6 weeks later, I get a call telling me that I got the part. And they said, yeah, we don't want her to do Icelandic. Just have her come and have her use her own voice and be herself. And so I'm so grateful because they wanted somebody that was snippy, but not bratty. And I guess by talking back to the director, I was snippy and not bratty. But thank goodness, they didn't know what they wanted for Ahsoka. And how I was acting kind of just as myself and in between takes is what they decided what they wanted. So I feel very fortunate I got to literally bring my own heart, my own soul, and my own voice, and my own personality truly to Ahsoka.
And I think we can all agree that we're very grateful for that.
Thank you.
Because we can't think of anyone better.
Well, thank you. Now, we only have about 10 minutes left, so we want to make sure we have some time for Q&A. So I think we could probably get at least 2 or 3 questions in. There's a microphone right here if you have a question. What's your name?
My name's Danielle.
Hi.
Hi. I'm not going to get through this. From one cast member to another, what is your favorite thing about being a cast member?
Oh my goodness.
I worked at the Disney store across the street. We just closed our doors 2 days ago, permanently.
We're so sorry for that.
And I have loved being a cast member, and I'm curious what your favorite parts of being a cast member has been.
Well, first I have to share specifically to the Disney store aspect of that. When I mentioned I would want to go drive around the Disney studios, my excuse was to go to the Glendale Galleria and go to the Disney store because that was my closest tangible thing to Disney magic at the time. But from this cast member to you, I will just say, you know, one of the most important things for me is to remember that I'm just doing my part to fill in for the boss, being Walt Disney. And I think all of the cast members who contribute to continuing Walt's dream and his magic and his legacy are just filling in for the boss. So thank you so much, pal.
Well, first of all, Disney magic is real. It's very real. But Disney magic lives in the cast members, in the guests. It lives in all of you, and the same goes for Star Wars. And I can liken this to Ahsoka, actually, because one of the lessons that I've learned over the past year and a half as we've been at home and we've gone through COVID, I could never quite put my finger on, you know, what truly made Ahsoka so powerful. And I realized, actually it was taught to me, that it's Ahsoka's kindness. And kindness, thank you, kindness is powerful. And oftentimes, I don't know, I've been taught sometimes that kindness is looked down upon almost as a weakness, and it's not at all. It's actually so much harder to be kind and do the kind thing. And so, to take it back to being a cast member, and I feel like whether it's I know it's no longer at the Disney store, and whether you're a Disney cast member or not, we can all spread Disney magic, whether you're in a Disney park or you're just in your hometown, by being kind. And by being so powerful and doing acts of kindness, you are spreading pixie dust, and you will continue to spread Disney magic. And I think you need a hug real quick. All right, thank you.
I'd fall off the stage if I tried that, so I sat back here.
All right, what's your name and what's your question?
Hi, I'm Michaela. I'm a first grade teacher, and I was wondering what advice you'd have for my students.
Oh my gosh, well, first of all, thank you for being a teacher. I say, I may be the voice of a Jedi, but you are a real life Jedi, so I think all teachers are heroes. Oh geez. You know, I don't mean to be a broken record, but I think in first grade especially, I want to go back to the kindness comment, because you know, in schools, we praise grades so much. We praise attendance, like perfect attendance, and you know, all A's. And while those are important too, I really think we need to be praising kindness. When we see a kid doing a kind gesture for another kid in their class, that should be praised. You know, versus oftentimes we only hear about the bullying that happens. I think if we praised the kind acts more, kids would, you know, want to do more kind acts. So definitely maybe spreading the message that kindness is powerful. Bret?
Absolutely. You know, I think back to that age, and I just remember how imaginative I was, and how sometimes that wasn't the popular way to be. amongst adults or even other students. And you know, I think something that I've really wanted to take on as I've gotten older is just encouraging the arts. You know, I think sometimes the arts are so undervalued, and when a student says, I want to be an artist or something, it's like, that's nice for a hobby, but why don't you pursue this other intellectual thing as well? And I would say, you know, to your students, just keep dreaming, keep imagining, and let those dreams and that the worlds that they create be the fuel to just guide them, you know, onto the next thing, whatever that is. You know, one of my favorite things I've ever worked on, and my favorite Disney show is Fantasmic at Disneyland, which is, it's quintessential Disney magic in that it takes place in Mickey's imagination. He's dreaming the whole time. But the very iconic line at the end, when Mickey has defeated the evil and his dreams have persevered, it goes silent and he says, "Some imagination, huh?" And that truly is a motto that I live by, because I don't think a day goes by that I don't continue to dream and imagine what's next. And I think that starts, you know, at a very young age. And so if your students can grasp that, I think they're set for success.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I was just wondering what your favorite part of playing Ahsoka and Mickey have been, and like what your favorite moments were on the set.
Ooh.
Oh man, it's so hard to pinpoint. The Fantasmic thing I just mentioned, when I got to be a part of the redo of Fantasmic, that was a definite high for me. But I think there was a little project that happened. We started in Disneyland and eventually got installed in Florida, where Mickey got to interact with people. You could go meet Mickey and he would talk to you. His eyes would blink, his mouth would move. Mickey came alive in a way that he had never before. And I got to play a part in that. And I was behind the scenes for a lot of it, but I firsthand witnessed the power of a character like Mickey. And I was aware of it before, but when you're face to face with somebody, like us here in this moment, at events like this, like FanX, when you get to have that one-on-one interaction and find out what we have in common, that's something really unique and special and intimate. And I got to experience that through Mickey's eyes, literally. And I'll never forget it, because whether you're 2 years old or 52 years old, when you meet Mickey, you just kind of melt and you feel safe, because Mickey is something that we all know and love and feel comfortable with and feel like we have an individual relationship with. And so it was really impactful to see how powerful those relationships were when people would share they'd share their highs, but they'd also share their lows. And in that moment, I realized the responsibility that comes with a character like Mickey.
It's funny that was your answer, because my favorite thing is truly this, is getting to meet all of you. And Star Wars and being the voice of Ahsoka has changed my life. And it's not just because I get to voice this amazing character of Ahsoka Tano, it's because I've now gained a family of fans all over the world. And I want you all to know that when you come up and we chat and you share your story with me, it sticks with me. I mean it. If I say I'm sending you, the Force, or sending you good vibes, or sending you prayers, and I met Jack yesterday, and he will be on my heart forever, or Sophie. If you share a story with me, I will always remember it, and it means the world to me. So that's my favorite part. Star Wars fans are my favorite part of being the part of Ahsoka Tano, and getting to do cool things like this. And sadly, we're out of time, but I do want to advance one more slide, because I don't know if everyone got them. I think they might be passing them out on the way out. But, okay, there you go. Yeah. So what we didn't get to say at the beginning was that Bret and I bonded over our mutual love of the Mickey Mouse Club. It was the dream that got away. We wanted to be Mouseketeers. And so since we didn't get to be a part of the Mickey Mouse Club, even though now he's...
Speak for yourself.
I know. Literally the voice of Mickey Mouse. Okay, I take that back. We decided to start our own club called the Official Voice Your Dreams Club. And so we made membership cards. And on the back of the card, it has a phrase on it where it basically says, next time, or this card gives you permission to dream. Because sometimes that's all you need. It's just permission to say, you know what, yeah, you can do it. Go for it. And so next time you're thinking of pursuing something new, or even if you feel defeated and you're wondering whether, like me, should I just walk out of that room and drive away and not continue to pursue my dream? I hope you look at that card and hear our voices and hear us saying, no, go for it, keep going. We're giving you permission, keep going. Because sometimes that's all you need. You need a friend or a family member to say, I believe in you, keep going.
You need somebody to say, send that letter.
Yeah.
Take that chance. Do that audition.
So thank you so much for coming to our panel today. I know it was a little all over the place, but...
I promise we do rehearse this sometimes.
Just everybody please give a huge round of applause for Bret and Ashley.
Thank you so much.
Wait. I have something to say. Turn the music down. This is our 14th show. We've had over 200 celebrities come on the stage. You are the only ones that have ever been introduced twice on the same panel. You made a memory. Do you want to do a photo? Okay guys, do this. Pull out your phones. Turn the flashlights on. It'll look really awesome. Everybody count of 3. Turn your phones on, get your flashlights on, the flashlights on. Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3! You guys, these are 2 of the sweetest individuals I've ever met. Go visit them at their panel, their table. They said they'll stay here as long as you come and talk to them. They will be here and meet with you and talk with you. Go make sure you go